Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Crypto Space. So in today's video, we are going to cover ICP, its recent price action. We are going to cover a couple of interesting news for ICP, and believe me, we've got quite a bit. We are going to also cover a couple of interesting metrics like BTC's price and what BTC is doing. And of course, we are going to cover a bigger picture, which is altcoin charts on a monthly time frame. So guys, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and a quick disclaimer that this video is not a financial advice. And now let's hop into ICP itself. So ICP is currently trading at $12.79 and is currently experiencing a leg down of 6.2% at the time of recording this video. Market cap is currently trading at 5.9 billion USD, and 24-hour trading volume is currently sitting at 406.3 million USD. So recent ICP's dip, I believe, is nothing to be worried about, because obviously the whole crypto space is experiencing that major pullback due to BTC's recent pullback. And why is that happening? So the first reason, guys, will be the probably not so great news that are coming from Israel and Iran, etc. So war related news that obviously implies a little bit of scarcity and people are taking the profits out. And of course, anticipation of Bitcoin's halving, which historically presents a lot of volatility around that time. However, the macro picture is totally different. So even if we are experiencing that sell-off and shakeout of weak hands, which I'm going to cover a little bit later, that obviously is just temporary. Couple of interesting photos from Web3 Festival that happened in Hong Kong. I do believe that the team of ICP did a great job by educating people about ICP, its capabilities, etc. And on the top of that, of course, advertising and marketing the project further. And now, big news dropping. ZK Cross Network is proud to unveil our game-changing collaboration with ICP. We are revolutionizing DeFi interoperability, and this is your first look. So guys, this is always good. New integrations, new collaborations with different projects, of course, that provides liquidity. If something is being built on ICP, that of course is injection of money into the network. And now, speaking about collaborations, we do have a little bit of more serious player now playing with ICP. So United Nations, Knowledge Foundation and dfinity join forces to fundamentally transform education via 3-year coding integrity hackathon series for ICP for a knowledge token and internet computer. So guys, this is bullish in my opinion, because United Nations is not any project out there, is quite big entity, and this is great that they have picked ICP to pretty much partner with. So that's great. And now let's check out what Dominic has to say about ICP itself.
If you want to store a gigabyte of data on Ethereum, it'll cost you about $79 million. That's an eye-opener, right? If you take a photograph of the screen, you can go and check out the links yourself. To store 1 gigabyte of data on Ethereum, it'll cost you $79 million. On Solana, you pay a rent, it costs you about 3,500 Sol. So let's try and visualize that. Okay, so this is comparing Ethereum version 2 with Solana. The box on the left is the cost of storing a gigabyte of data on the blockchain on Ethereum, and the box on the right is the relative cost of storing it on Solana. So I mentioned that it costs 79 million on Ethereum. It costs the current price of Sol about $118,000 per gigabyte per year on Solana. Okay, so now let's put Solana and the internet computer side by side to give you a sense of what this means. So now on the left, you have the relative cost of storing a gigabyte of data on Solana. On the right, and if you can see it, there's a little dot next to the magnifying glass. That's the relative cost of storing a gigabyte of data on the internet computer. On the internet computer, it costs you about $5 a year. It's a constant cost to store a gigabyte of data in the form of persistent memory pages and smart contracts. So that's an improvement of almost 24,000 times at current prices. So to put this into real world terms, let's think about the cost of storing a simple phone photo on the blockchain. Phone photo is about 3.3 megabytes. To store a phone photo on the internet computer, it costs about 1.6 cents. 1.6 cents. To store a phone photo on Solana, it's actually technically almost impossible, but if you could do it, it would cost you about $400, $390. So clearly, it's not possible to build social media services on Solana, which is the next most efficient blockchain. And That's why today, when you hear people talking about services, Web3 services, really they mean services that are built on Amazon Web Services that just maintain some tokens on the blockchain. The internet computer is very different. It allows people to build even mass market social media services entirely using smart contracts without any need for
paying that much of money, like with Solana and Ethereum, obviously, guys. So what Dominic is trying to get at over here is that even if social media platforms and their owners would like to build on, let's say, Solana, which is the next good blockchain right after Ethereum, I would say, or faster and cheaper, that is still not possible to build on Solana because obviously the costs are too high. So ICP, it's one of its kind, guys. And now let's cover some details over here. If it comes to ICP being staked, that is currently sitting at 47%. And now, guys, the charts that you saw in the thumbnail. So basically last month, around 16th of March, we were sitting at 3,941 addresses that are holding over 10k ICP, and now we are sitting at 4,022. So maybe that particular number is not huge, but look at that spike in terms of interest and accumulation for ICP. Over 10,000 ICP, I do believe that's quite a big number over here. And if you are going to look at 10 to 100k, this is pretty much the same thing. If we are going to look at 14th of March and look over here, this spike is significant as well. So something is brewing in the background, and that is true accumulation that is happening for ICP, because obviously ICP can become deflationary at some point. And of course, the fact that there is not a lot of ICP in circulation, if we are going to compare it with Solana, let's say, which is as infinity of supply. And now good news, because if we are going to look at ICP's DeFi, that is currently sitting at 91.3 million USD, and we see that huge inflow of DeFi. So that is great to see DeFi activity on ICP's network. That of course looks much better at the moment. So ICP dipped slightly below that 0.786 zone and even touched 1. So ICP is no longer retracing at this point, and we are seeing the bullish recovery over here, at least on the daily. However, I would like to cover BTCs first to understand of what is going on with BTC, so we can understand what could expect potentially next for ICP. So BTC is building that bullish pennant on the daily. However, we had quite a bit of liquidity in that zone, a little bit above 70,000 USD. So obviously that was a perfect opportunity for market makers to flush out these leverages, and now market is going to be much more healthy. So the question is how low BTC could go before it's going to pump. So the floor for BTC, according to the heat map, could be around 50,000 USD. So obviously that is going to pull ICP and other alts much lower. However, it's not necessarily going to happen. This is just what's brewing on liquidation heat map. So this is the volatility that we will have to be prepared for. However, if you are not trading ICP and you are just spot holding and accumulating, I don't think that you should be worried. So before we are going to go back to ICP, let's have a look. So the next technical level of support for BTC will be 59, and after that would be that 50k. So in this case, if BTC is going to drop lower and we are going to see continuation of that sell-off, next technical level will be around $9 for ICP. And the question is, can this happen? Well, I do believe it can. That will be probably the last sell-off to shake out the weak hands out of the market. And speaking about weak hands, Bitcoin is shaken out of the weak hands. This is only a routine move before the next run. From the beginning of this cycle, shakeouts happened several times. Following each shakeout, a pump was seen. So guys, this is exactly what was brewing for BTC ever since we saw that bottom in 2022, right? We had a pump, then we had consolidation, then we had the shakeout, and then we had the next steps, right? So that basically looks like just another profit takings and of course anticipation of the Bitcoin halvening event. So obviously there's going to be a volatility. However, I do believe that this is the last shakeout before we are going to enter much bigger levels for ICP, guys. So these times I believe are the last chances to accumulate. So now if we are going to cover altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum on a monthly chart, market cap is perfectly following the previous alt season step. This is the last shakeout before it rips explosively upward, coupled with Bitcoin dominance downward trend. So guys, we are going to examine these charts right now. So the first things first, let's have a look at alts and what they are doing, right? So basically the chart looks similar on the daily, guys. We basically are experiencing that pullback and liquidation of those leverages, and sooner or later after the halvening we are going to enter that box of only up territory for alts, guys. So I wouldn't necessarily be worried, right? And now let's examine Bitcoin's dominance, right? So now obviously Bitcoin's dominance is shooting on a daily. However, if I'm going to zoom this chart, we can clearly see that sooner or later Bitcoin's dominance is going to drop, and after that we are going to see a huge altcoin season. So guys, please make sure that you don't panic sell and you are still accumulating, because we are still relatively early. Even if we are going to look at the Bitcoin's rainbow chart, we can clearly see that this is not the best time to sell. This is a great time to buy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching that quick ICP, BTC and a little bit of altcoin charts update. I hope that you have guys enjoyed it, and I wish you having a great day or evening wherever you are in the world. Peace and love, crypto.